It was a mega effort by the Congress to counter repeated graft charges on the party and justify mega reforms pushed by the government. All the big guns, predictably, were brought out to defend the UPA's policy decisions like FDI, LPG cap and fuel price hike at Delhi's Ramleela Maidan. In fact, the Sonia Gandhi, Rahul and Manmohan Troika opened up 3 different fronts against the opposition with a clear aim at 2040. Leading the Congress charge against allegations of graft plaguing the government was a combative Sonia Gandhi. She took the battle to the opposition camp, questioning its own record in tackling tainted leaders. The Prime Minister, on the other hand, assumed the role of a visionary, backing reforms and justifying measures like introducing FDI. All this to win back support for the general elections. Rahul Gandhi, meanwhile, reached out to the common man, touching on pro-people issues like the Lokpal bill, the food bill and the land acquisition bill.
कुछ राजनीतिक पार्टियों ने इस सीधी सच्चाई को अभी तक स्वीकार नहीं किया, अभी तक पचा नहीं पाए। वे आप द्वारा चुनी हुई सरकार को किसी न किसी तरह कमजोर करना चाहते हैं। वे लगातार संसद की कार्यवाही में बाधा डाल रहे हैं।
रिटेल व्यापार में विदेशी निवेश से इन सुविधाओं को बेहतर बनाने में मदद मिल सकती। हमारे किसान भाई बहनों को उनकी फसल के बेहतर दाम मिल सकते हैं, क्योंकि वो उसे बाजारों तक पहुंचा सकेंगे। आम जनता को सब्जी और फल सस्ते दामों पर ही मिल पाएंगे।
लोकपाल की बात थी, हम बिल लाए और विपक्ष के लोगों ने राज्यसभा में उस बिल को हराया और हंस रहे थे वो उस दिन, खुश थे जिस दिन लोकपाल बिल को वहां हराया गया था। मगर हम फिर से लाएंगे और उस बिल को पास करवाएंगे। आप देखना।
Naturally, the opposition is scoffing at what it calls a desperate effort by a cornered government to try and sell their anti-people policies to the Aam Aadmi.
They bypass the issue. The 2G spectrum allocation, the coal block allocation, what's happening to several leaders of theirs facing such serious charges of corruption. The party itself is in gross default of in regard to the disclosures which have come out in the last few days. They just bypass all those issues of corruption and offer no solution.
Senior journalist Sanjeev Srivastava still with us. Sanjeev, what do you make of this entire rally just to sell FDI to the common people? Did it seem a bit desperate?
Well, they had to come back with some kind of answers. But like Arun Jaitley just said on your television screen, that they should have been more elaborate in countering some of the charges. In the old Congress style of actually never countering to specific allegations, saying that it's beneath them or their leadership is kind of on a different pedestal and slightly more elevated, a little more Safed Kameez than the others. That is no longer working in today's environment, which is so full of charges and allegations that they need to really come clean. And that's where they failed. But I think it must be a big leg up for the Congress worker who was all through getting, just one-sided attack. So some kind of a counter-attack, some kind of show of strength in Delhi, mobilizing of workers, enthusing party cadres, their top leadership on the stage. It must have been a feel-good factor for the Congress workers.
But Sanjeev, tell me honestly, as someone who watched the entire speech, how convincing was the entire spiel? Barring maybe Sonia Gandhi, did you find the Prime Minister's speech or even Rahul Gandhi really convincing or emphatic?
Okay, so we start with the Prime Minister's speech, if you may. The Prime Minister's speech always fails to move you because he's just so, if you may, monotonous. He's not the greatest of speakers. And the good thing about that now is that everybody comes to expect from him a not very uplifting speech.
But that's what this rally was about. It was about conviction.
But then you never expect Manmohan Singh to go out and deliver ever a rousing kind of a speech. He always speaks in the same monotonous manner and reads from a text, so it doesn't really work as a public speaker. But then nobody really minds that also in a very strange kind of a manner, whether it is his Independence Day addresses or was today's address. Rahul Gandhi, I thought, I have heard a lot of his speeches. Actually, he looked more confident than his previous appearances. It was his first appearance on a national stage. He sounded confident, but towards the end of it, I think he either lost it or maybe he was carrying some notings with him. I just have a feeling that his last page was missing because the speech of his ended a little abruptly for me. I thought he was building up, he was warming up, he had the right tone, but then he suddenly said thank you and thank you for coming, and that's it. So it felt a little odd. Mrs. Gandhi, of course, was in her elements, but then she despite her drawbacks of language, has evolved as a good speaker over the years. But Rahul was good, except for that Papa, which is now coming back to haunt him, which I feel frankly a little sorry for him, because he didn't mean it in the way it has now been twisted by the opposition, and full marks to opposition. That's their job. They need to poke holes in a governing party's leader, and especially somebody who is the prime minister in waiting or the party's heir apparent. So he has to be questioned and provoked. I think it should again come as a lesson for Rahul Gandhi that he needs to really, when he goes out to deliver a speech at such a platform, he needs to think what he is going to say, how it can be construed and come back to haunt him.
Well, the Congress manager's worst nightmare, they try to have a rally to reach out to the Aam Aadmi and they end up stirring a controversy thanks to Rahul Gandhi's comment on the Kargil conflict. Thank you very much, Sanjeev, for joining us in the studio.